RadiantGUARD, a proven technology for slashing utility costs. It's no secret, the United States is facing an energy crisis. Energy costs have been steadily increasing the last decade, and the trend will continue for the foreseeable future. For many Americans, the increased cost of utilities has a huge impact on monthly living expenses. The Department of Energy is now encouraging all Americans to weatherize their homes to not only lower the demand on energy sources, but to also lower utility costs for the homeowner. Experts note that a majority of homes are under-insulated and need to be brought up to current code levels to increase energy efficiency. Improving energy efficiency is as simple as controlling heat by keeping heat out in the warmer months and keeping heat in during the cooler months. RadiantGUARD products are designed to do just that. As an example, these two images, one captured with a standard digital camera and the other with an infrared camera, show a comparison with and without RadiantGUARD installed under the roof rafters. As you can see, a small section of the RadiantGUARD has been cut out for comparison purposes. These images were captured on a 90-degree summer day. The section without the RadiantGUARD is measured at 130.9 degrees. The area with the RadiantGUARD is 99 degrees, over a 30-degree temperature difference. RadiantGUARD products can easily lower attic temperatures by 30 degrees or more. So, how does RadiantGUARD do this? It's important to understand how heat enters and exits a home or building to truly understand how RadiantGUARD works. Heat is transferred or travels in three different ways: by conduction, conductive heat transfer; by convection, convective heat transfer; and by radiation, radiant heat transfer. Here's how heat enters your home. Energy from the sun travels in the form of radiant heat across millions of miles through space to the Earth. It then strikes the roof shingles and converts most of its energy into conductive heat as it travels through solid materials, such as the roof underlayment and decking. Once it meets the airspace at the bottom of the roof decking, the heat will then radiate from the roof decking across the attic space until it hits another surface. Even though you can't see the heat, like sunshine, it can still be felt coming off the decking. As heat continues to travel, it hits other materials such as trusses and storage items. As it travels through the air and hits these materials, it creates convective heat currents, the third form of heat movement. This convective heat will then rise to the top of the attic, increasing the overall attic temperature. Meanwhile, the radiant heat will continue to travel through the airspace, through the traditional insulation on the attic floor, and eventually into the living spaces below. Studies show a majority of heat gain and loss in a building is radiant heat. In the warmer months, up to 93% of heat gain is through radiant heat. In cooler months, 50 to 75% of all heat loss is through radiant heat. Traditional insulations such as fiberglass, cellulose, and rock wool aren't effective at blocking radiant heat. They're effective at slowing down conductive heat movement, but very poor at reducing the majority of heat movement, which is radiant heat. So how can RadiantGUARD help? In the 1950s, NASA scientists pioneered the use of reflective technologies while seeking protection for astronauts from the extreme temperatures in space. These reflective technologies are still used in aerospace programs today, as well as in many other industries such as medical, transportation, and cold storage. Now homeowners can take advantage of this same technology to keep their homes cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter while significantly reducing energy bills. Studies have shown that reflective barriers yield sizable savings and significant reductions in heat transfers in homes and buildings. So what is RadiantGUARD? How does RadiantGUARD work? RadiantGUARD is made of a highly reflective material, reinforced with a middle layer which gives the product durability and tear resistance. It reflects heat back to the heat source. And what is the R value of RadiantGUARD? Before we answer this question, we need to explain what an R value is. R values for traditional insulations have only been around since the late 1970s. Before the R value, insulation manufacturers used their own method for proclaiming the effectiveness of their products. This made comparing one product to another very difficult for the consumer. Therefore, in the late 1970s, the Federal Trade Commission created the R value calculation as a way to help consumers compare traditional insulation products to one another. The R value is a measurement of a product's resistance to conductive heat transfer through it from one location to another under very specific and consistent laboratory conditions. The R value test on a product is conducted at 50% humidity at 75 degrees with no air movement. In the real world, as any of these conditions change, the R value changes. For example, as humidity or air movement increase, the R value declines, indicating a less effective insulation. Therefore, an R value rated insulation varies in its ability to resist heat transfer as the humidity level, temperature, and airflow change. Because RadiantGUARD reflects away radiant heat rather than absorbing heat and slowing it down, RadiantGUARD doesn't have an R value. Instead, RadiantGUARD's effectiveness is measured by its reflectivity rate. Experts believe that a majority of homes are under-insulated with R19 or less. Tests recently performed by the Oak Ridge Laboratory, a leading independent test facility in the United States, show that adding a reflective product to an R19 insulation achieves the same results as an R30 used without a radiant barrier. In addition, RadiantGUARD protects your home or building against the primary method of heat transfer, radiant heat, and RadiantGUARD's effectiveness is not compromised by changes in humidity levels or airflow. So installing RadiantGUARD will not only reflect away radiant heat, it will also increase the overall effectiveness of your existing insulation. Here are some additional ways RadiantGUARD can help you lower utility costs and keep your home or building more comfortable. RadiantGUARD products are beneficial year-round for both winter and summer savings. RadiantGUARD reduces heat transfer from attic to living spaces up to 50% and helps extend the life of air conditioning units. Once installed, RadiantGUARD works indefinitely and requires no maintenance. RadiantGUARD provides a fast return on investment and will help you save on heating and cooling costs for the life of your home or building. Unlike some other products on the market, such as paint products which at best reflect 75 to 80% of the heat, RadiantGUARD products reflect 95% of radiant heat. RadiantGUARD products have earned the ENERGY STAR label. RadiantGUARD reduces the energy demand on the environment. In addition, RadiantGUARD products are non-toxic and non-carcinogenic, don't support the growth of fungus, mold, or mildew, don't provide nest support for rodents or insect pests, are Class A, Class 1 fire rated, don't shrink and are unaffected by humidity, are double-sided reflective, and are available in perforated, breathable versions. RadiantGUARD radiant barriers have been evaluated or approved for use by a wide variety of testing authorities. And as part of our ongoing commitment to provide the best products, industry experience, and customer service in the radiant barrier and reflective insulation markets, RadiantGUARD is a proud member of the Better Business Bureau, the American Society for Testing and Materials, and ENERGY STAR as an official ENERGY STAR partner. We thank you for your interest in RadiantGUARD products, the affordable way to lower utility bills year-round while reducing energy demand on the environment.